India have one foot in the semi-finals of the Champions Trophy after a comprehensive win against the host nation, Pakistan and Dubai. India began very well in the tournament opener against Bangladesh. They scored a brilliant win there, and now they have done exactly the same against Pakistan, and now they have 2 wins in as many matches. So basically India are all but through to the semis, and there's something that's going around the social media that Pakistan are eliminated from the tournament. Well, that's not really the case, because Pakistan are still alive in the Champions Trophy. I won't really say, they're alive and kicking, but then they still have a chance to qualify for the semis of the Champions Trophy here. But before we get to the scenarios, let's take a look at the current points table of Group A. Well, India obviously topped the Group A with 2 wins in as many matches, one against Pakistan and one against Bangladesh here. New Zealand are second with a comprehensive victory over Pakistan in the tournament opener. Bangladesh, they lost their tournament opener against India, and obviously Pakistan, they have suffered 2 consecutive defeats. And despite that, they are still alive in the tournament and they can still qualify for the Final Four. And how they can do it, let's just get to it now without wasting any time. Well, these are the 3 scenarios that would really need to go in Pakistan's favor so as to make sure that they can qualify for the semis. And number 1 scenario here is that New Zealand lose to Bangladesh. Now, New Zealand are going to take on Bangladesh in their second game of the Champions Trophy here. And if they lose this thing, then well, it's basically going to be encouraging for Pakistan. Now, second scenario is that Pakistan defeat Bangladesh, which is actually going to be their final group game in this tournament. And now the third and final scenario, that India beat New Zealand. So if these 3 scenarios click at the same time, what would really happen is that India would finish with a total of 6 points, which means that they would go into the semis undefeated, and Bangladesh, Pakistan and New Zealand would be tied at 2 points each. So India 6, Bangladesh, Pakistan and New Zealand at 2, and the ones with the better net run rate would qualify for the semis alongside India. So these are the scenarios that would need to take place in Pakistan's favor so that they can qualify for the semis. It looks pretty unrealistic, but then funny things have happened in cricket before. And we can also talk about the problems aplenty that there are in Group A, because as many as 3 teams can finish the group stage with a total of 4 points each. And how it can really be done? India lose to New Zealand, which would mean that India would end with the figures of 3 matches, 2 wins, 1 loss and a total of 4 points. New Zealand lose to Bangladesh, assuming New Zealand have already defeated India, but they lose to Bangladesh. So basically New Zealand would also finish with 3 matches, 2 wins and 1 loss. And finally, Bangladesh beat Pakistan, because the assumption that we discussed earlier was that Bangladesh defeat New Zealand, and if they go on to defeat Pakistan also in their final group game, India, Bangladesh and New Zealand will finish with a total of 4 points each, and the 2 teams with better net run rate will qualify for the semi-final. So what this basically goes on to show that there are problems aplenty in Group A, or maybe opportunities aplenty in Group A, and that's where the likes of New Zealand and Bangladesh would really want to cash in on upon them so as to make sure that they still stand a chance to qualify for the semis. But if New Zealand beat Bangladesh, then India and New Zealand will qualify for the semis, and the game between Pakistan and Bangladesh will just be a dead rubber. So these are basically the scenarios that are probably going to be there as far as the Group A of the Champions Trophy is concerned. India have a firm footing as far as a semi spot in the Champions Trophies is concerned. But then Pakistan, despite losing 2 in 2, they are still alive in the tournament. But then they would need a few scenarios to go their way so that they can seal a spot in the Final Four. So stay tuned to Sports Today, as we'll bring you all the latest updates and analysis from the sporting world. Until then, on behalf of my producer Pawan, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye and good night.